All right, so today we are going over the pairs for this week, and we're also going to incorporate market structure in the course or in today's class. So again, if you have any questions, please feel free to ask, and we're going to get started. So the first pair that I have is AUD CAD, right? So the first thing that I always do, and let me back up just a little bit, just to tell you what market structure is. Market structure is the directional bias of the market, right? So if you're looking at AUD CAD and we're on a 2-month time frame, so it can look a little weird here. Like this was going, you had your higher, your lower high, your lower low, lower high, lower low, and then price started reversing and going higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. That is pretty much market structure. So whatever the current structure is, that is your main directional bias. Currently, price is given lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, right? So if you need to have a reminder what direction the overall market is going, just draw your trend line. Just do that. That will help you keep in line with the way the market is going, okay? You will do yourself a disservice if you do not look at the overall market structure on the higher time frames. You'll do yourself a disservice, and I'm going to show you why. And matter of fact, I'll just use this as an example. This was a why did I start on a 2-month? I'm going to show you in just a second. Because we really could have started on the monthly. It's the same thing, but I just wanted to take out all the noise, right? Even looking at a 12-month, I mean, that's really taking out all the noise, but you can clearly see like structure is going down. And even overall, you got a low, you have a high, and pretty much all this is ranging in between, but you can clearly see that this is in a downtrend, right? And you can see that price tapped into this order block, pushed up, but it's still within the trend. So I'm going to go back down to the 2-month. And why I say that you want to look, you will do yourself a disservice if you're not looking at the overall market structure. And so we have a high here, we have a low here, we have a high here, we have a low here, a high here, right? And this is kind of in the middle. And if y'all know me, that's my low. Some people may want to just use the bodies. You can do that as well. It all depends on your trading plan. So when you know where you are in the overall picture of market structure, we're in a bearish market, right? You're not going to allow a bullish order block to trick you into thinking that price is going to go from, you're not going to allow a bullish order block Why did I keep doing that? Did this move? Short position, I mean, oh, because it's long position. You're not going to allow the market to trick you into thinking that price is going to start going up here, right? Because we're on a 2-month bullish order block. Because as you can see, price pushed up and then started coming back down because price has tapped into a level of market structure that you would not have known if you did not go to the bigger time frames. Okay. Does that make sense for everybody?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So your first step is to always look at the overall market structure. You can start on the weekly, you can start on the daily, wherever the higher time frame helps you see it a lot more clearly. So wherever you want to start, whatever higher time frame you want to start, you can start there. So with that being said,
Kim, I'm
Yes.
gonna ask the crazy question.
no
So,
crazy questions. There are no.
so when you say, okay, we know our market structure is a directional bias of the market, right? So when you marked up your gray area, you marked that up because of what again? Because
this is an order block right here.
Mm-hmm.
And it is near my trend line, my bear, because and the trend line is respected, and of course until it's not anymore, right?
Right.
But I'm marking this up. So this order block has already been tapped into. The next order block is right here. So I'm marking up my wicks of that order block, and that's where price tapped into and dropped. Because one, it is within an order block. Two, it is at my trend line. Three, because I'm looking for sales. Like, even though this gave me a bullish order block, I am looking for sales. So with that being said, this is on a higher time frame, and I'm going to go down to the smaller time frames so that you can even understand it even better, because that's usually where we are on smaller time frames, right? So once that tapped into my order block and started rejecting, not only did it reject, it came and gave me another order block. It then started breaking, violating my order blocks, right? And then price came, once it broke, violated the order block. And I'm gonna draw it so that it's y'all know I normally just draw the lines, right? But I'm gonna draw a zone so you can see it clearly. And I just go from the wicks. So once this order block was violated, you got a pullback. So where's the pullback coming to? To an imbalance, to an order block. So price came back into that order block. You're looking for sales. So price came back into this imbalance. And started selling this imbalance. Okay.
Those small ones again. God.
Even on a higher time frame. Yes.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, Lord.
I have a question.
Yes.
So when you drew that second order block, what do you
This
where's
right
the order
here.
block? Yes.
So who said that?
Isha.
Isha. So what happened was, once price, okay, because we're looking for sales, right? Once price breaks this, because this is a bullish order block. So when you see a bullish order block, what are we expecting? What are we looking for?
Well, if I was just going off and knowing the bullish order block, I would be looking for a buy, but you said the overall bias is a sell, so we're looking for it to come back down.
Correct. Now, when you get down to the smaller time frames, if you're not aware where you are in the structure, if you're not aware of structure of the market structure, this is going to be enticing to you. Like if I did not have this line right here, and then if I didn't identify, if I just had this right here, and you see prices buying up, right? And you get an order block, you're like, oh, I got a whole 2-month order block. Let me fib my, you're gonna say, let me fib here. And then let me go, and this is because this is how we do it. Let me go down to a lower time frame, right? And we're gonna say, oh, maybe price will come back to this 50% and then start buying up. That's what we would be looking for. When technically we should not be looking for that, because now, and I'm not saying you can't get in, because this is bullish right here. I'm not saying you can't get in for for buys, but if you don't know where you are in the market, that's when price is going to come and snatch all your edges. Okay. Snatch them all. Okay.
Lord.
So I'm going back to the 2-month. 12 month. And went to a whole year. I'm going to go back to the 2-month. I'm going to put my trend line back. Okay. And I'm going to say to myself, say if I was a trader who just wanted to come look at the charts every 2 months, okay, I would have, and y'all know how I like to mark up this was the high, I draw my line, we have an order block. I would say, okay, it's either going to come tap back into here, or like I said, we're going to mark it up with the fib, and we're expecting it to sell back to the 50%, one of the optimal trading entries, right? And don't get me wrong, it could go back up, but it could have gone back up. I'm just going to say that. But because we are looking for sales, that is what we should have in our mind. We should be looking, we should say, you know what? We're looking for sales. I'm going all in on this sale right here. Let me see how many pips this was right here. Was that 40 pips? That was,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we're on a 2-month time frame. That would, a 50 pip stop loss would have yielded you $1,200 pips. Let me see what that was a whole 50 pips. Wait a minute, hold on. Okay, it might have been a little more. 75 pips. Let's go with 75. Now, that was a 1 to 16 R&R. Of course, it would have taken you, what, a year? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yeah, it would have took you a little over a year. But can you imagine having a trade in for over a year and it was in profit the whole time?
Oh, Lord, yes.
Because we're trading the trend. When you trade the trend, that's you're going to start, you'll see that. And even this little pullback, you would have been, okay, you would have lost a little, you would have said, oh, I'm pulling back. Okay. And then I'm back. And then you would have got this, it was a pullback, and then it would have went back down some more. And then if you had taken it to these low, to this, the bodies, then you would have got tapped out before this push went back up. Because now we have a pretty much a double bottom, right? So this is probably gonna, because of this push, it's probably gonna pull back and start buying back up. Now, with that being said, based off of market structure, does somebody have a question? Go ahead.
Yeah, I have a question.
Oh,
So
wait a
when
minute, hold on, before you ask that question. So
Okay.
who asked me, Selena, did I answer your question?
Oh, that was Isha. Yes, you answered
Yeah.
my question.
Okay. And I was gonna ask you next. So did you got that this was a violated order block? So price pulled back and then started dropping again. Okay. All right. Okay, now who is about to ask a question? Go ahead.
This is me. Well, it's me. The line that you drew above the bullish order block,
Right,
or
right,
not above,
here.
through the, yeah. You said
Uh-huh.
that was from the high. Why did you use the
So once you get once price is going up and then you get a pullback,
Mhm.
right? So now that's your swing high, and then this is pulling back, and that's your now, let me take these off. And this is your now swing low. And I'm gonna show it to you on maybe on a daily. Let's see. So see how price pushed up, pulled back, and then pushed up to the top. So once you got that pullback, this became, once you got the pullback and then this break, this became your swing low. And now this is the swing high. But this only became the swing low because price broke this high.
Mhm.
Right? So that's what that was on the 2 months.
Okay.
Yep,
Oh.
that's what that was.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, any questions any other questions before I move forward? Okay, so with that being said, we are probably looking for buys at this point, but I'm going to take all the lines away except for the trend line, and I'll leave this here. So now price is breaking highs. You had a order block here. You had a bearish order block, right? Price came and broke through that order block. Price broke this high. Price is looking to break these highs. So what are we expecting? Anybody?
Pullback.
Correct. So we're expecting a pullback to then, we're expecting a pullback to then buy up. There is a order block here, like this wick is part of a bearish order block. So at least, I would say at least take it up to here, right? And now it's starting to create bullish. This is when I say, if price doesn't give me what I need at the time to take a counter trend trade, I'm not going to take it. But this right here, I would take. One, because we have this double bottom right here. Two, it violated a higher time frame order block. So now I'm expecting price, and it's tapped into this zone that we created before, this violated order block. It's coming back and retesting this zone again. It retested it here, but it's retesting it again. But I'm expecting it to pull back and then buy up. Okay. Now, with that being said, from a higher time frame, the goal is now to go down to the lower time frames, or the weekly, the daily, even the 4 hour, to find out where we can get in to trade this up, right? So I'm going to put this here just so I can know where I want to buy up to. So if we look at the monthly, it's within an order block, so hopefully it will start pulling back sometime soon. We're looking for, now we're in the weekly. It broke this swing high, right? So now we're looking for a break of structure to the downside. So this is an order block. We are within a weekly bullish order block. So I would hope this is a violated order block on the weekly as well. So I'm thinking that price is probably going to start buying back up some more before a major pullback. It may tap into this imbalance before pulling back, or it may break this high before pulling back. It may come up to here and then start pulling back. We don't know yet, right? But from what we're seeing on a weekly, price is currently in a bullish order block. It broke this high, it pulled back and gave us a weekly order block. So I would say it is probably safe to trade this weekly order block for now. Now I'm going to go down to the 4 hour. Price, this was the swing high. And I want to go back because I missed saying something. Let me go back to the 2 month. So these dots right here, right? These are considered the macro levels, the macro highs, the macro lows. You might hear somebody saying a major high or a major low, or an external high, which are the edges, the external or the edges, right? And then when you go down in the time frame, you have this is macro. This is a macro high still, and then everything in between this macro high and this macro low are considered minor swing highs and swing lows. Okay. Which means anything between this low and this high can turn at any point. And as you can see, it started turning right here. It started turning right here. So if you hear, I just wanted to say that because you may hear it in a different way. Macro, micro, major, minor, external and internal. Okay, now I said all that to say that even if we have breaks of structure, we are looking for, so I'm on the daily now. And my line is still here because we are hoping for a pullback, and we are hoping for a pullback to one of our optimal trading entries. And if anybody knows me, Y'all know I like the 78. I love the 78 because if it gets to the 78, 9 times out of 10, it's going to give a big push to show that, okay, this is where the move should have happened. I also love the 618 because the 618 is a sign of reversal. So, but the 618, it may come to the 618, pull back, and then come back down to the 718. If you know, you know that I look for M's and W's. That's pretty much how I trade. I look for M's and W's. So with that being said, price pulled back. It broke structure here. It broke structure here. So, but we don't know if this is the pullback for the down, for the sell down, or if it's going to continue going up, if this is going to be a continuation. Based off of the 2-month order block that we saw, right? We were saying that price is probably going to keep continuing up. So where do we get in? How do we go drop down in time frame to get in the trade? You can go down to the smaller time frames.
Recording in progress.
Did that.
That's me, sorry, changing meetings.
Or changing devices.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay. So with that being said, now we're looking for, who was that? Oh, thank you. So with that being said, price has tapped into retested this initial break of structure here of this order block. And price could continue down to this order block because it's still selling right now. So not until price starts to break structure, then you will be in for buys. Do everyone understand why I said we were getting, because remember we started at the 2-month, right? And because there was, we're expecting a pullback. Oh, wait a minute, was it on the monthly?
Kim, quick question.
Uh-huh.
Would it be
Oh, the weekly.
relevant, or I guess relevant, to mark that golden zone that you have so that we could see it on the 4-hour? I don't know if that's relevant or not.
You can. Now I'm gonna be honest, I'm not a big golden zone person.
Mm-hmm.
Because 5618, there we go. Because I want it to come to the 78. Like that's, you know, if it comes to the golden zone, then it goes to the golden zone. If I miss it, then I'm going to wait for the other breaks of structure to the top side.
I just wanted to see where it fell on the lower time frame based on what price was doing.
Let me go to the hour. So that's down here. So price did break. As Todd says, it meanders back up, right? And then drops to the downside. If we're going off of this weekly order block, then price tapped into that imbalance that was there, that we had marked up, and then started pulling back up. So I think it's probably safe to say we're probably going to have a continuation of AUD CAD to the upside. Maybe up until to close this imbalance. Okay. So you will have the same process will be on the lower time frames. Once you've identified your where you are in market structure, you can also make that identification on the lower time frames. Because now that we're on the weekly, because we didn't see all this on the 2-month, right? So now you have these lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. This it broke structure, but it tapped into an area that hadn't been tapped into, right? This order block right here. And then started dropping even more. Because it has to come back and create another swing high. And if you want, like, I'm not going to have all these lines on my chart. 9 times out of 10, my lines is probably equivalent to the MAs. But y'all know MAs lag, so I don't use MAs.
Question,
so,
what's a MA? And
moving average, the moving averages. Oh, go ahead and ask your question. I'm sorry.
and then the macros and micros, is that like an indicator? Or is that when you just click on the chart and it automatically pops on there?
No. I identified these when I was on the 2-month. I just took this little marker here and identified the major swing highs and the major swing lows. So the major swing highs is the macros, right? The minor swing highs and lows are the areas within those major.
Okay.
So now this is all these little swings in here are more minor because they fall in between this major high, this major low, and this major high. So once price breaks this minor level, you can expect price to pull back based off of market structure. You can expect price to pull back to this level and react in some kind of way. Because once price breaks this level of market structure, right, we are then officially looking for sales. So I had a few people do a little homework to mark up the levels that they would be looking for sales. And when I say sell till you can't sell anymore, your chart should really be looking like this. Oops. So it should be a sell. As you see, it tapped in right there. That was a break of structure right there. And then you have another level, and I'm just going to use my line like I normally do. You have another level here that hasn't been tapped into, so you can expect it, price to come back at this point to then start dropping again because we're looking for sales, right? So once you marked up this zone, price didn't come back. Then you had a break of structure. This is a little choppy, so I wouldn't mark up this area. I would mark this right here though, because you have a push up. And then you had this break of structure. So you expect price to come back and then start selling some more. And then you have another zone here, another order block for price to come and start selling some more. So your trading should look like this. Your charts should be looking for sales. And I would have to mark this up in some kind of way. This would be my violated order block right here. So once price broke this level, it would have been an entry here and then also an entry here. It would have been one of the two. Okay. And then you're just taking your entries to the lows, the previous lows of the buy up. Okay. So even looking here, there was an order block right here, got tapped into, started dropping. Now, we're on the daily, and let me go down to, let me take this off. Let me go down to the 15-minute. Because I know we trade the pullbacks sometimes. For me, I have to have I have to have the major confirmation that it is pulling back to one of my break of structure areas, right? So price broke here and pulled back. If I go to, let me go to 1 hour. We have an order block here that was violated. So that is my area where I expect price to come. That is one of the areas where I expect price to come back to. Because now we are bullish. Looking at market structure, you have higher lows, like your lows. So when you see, and like I said, if you want, you can draw your trend line to keep you in line to where you are within that structure, but also remember that price is bearish. You got your trend line up here. So once you get up here, you want to start being very cautious. You're in this gray zone based off of, you're in that gray zone based off of market structure from this initial break of structure. From price was bullish, it broke structure here, it broke these little things. Hold on. Okay, so it broke this level here. Did I delete my? I did. Hold on. So this was my level of that I was expecting price to come back to. Once it broke, the only area that needed to be mitigated was this order block right here. There was some imbalance up here, but this was the order block this is the one that Todd teaches us, the order block that sponsors the break of structure. This was the order block that sponsored this break. it meandered for a bit, but it kept going, right? But then it pulled back to that area, tapped in, and started selling down some more. Does everybody understand that?
I have a quick question.
Yes.
The order block that sponsored the break of structure, which level are you considering to be broken? Which wick?
This right here. This area right here, this swing low right here. Let me take that out. From this low to this high, everything else is minor. Anything from between here and here, price can come back, test this area, and then continue up to the upside. Once it breaks this swing low, then you're looking for sales. But from here on out, we were looking for buys because price tapped into, there was an order block over here on the, I think it was when we started out with the on the 2-month, yeah. There was an order block over here, price tapped into and rejected and came all the way back up here. Once it gave this rejection, once it even broke this high right here, again, we're looking at it from a higher time frame, but you can still, it's the same thing on the lower time frame. Once it rejected and broke this high, then you're looking for buys up until your trend, up to your trend line based off of market structure, because price is bearish at this point. So when you're looking, when you're trading and you have, and you're looking at your swing high, your major swing highs and major swing lows, once price breaks structure, price is either going to come here to retest the area, to retest the break of structure, or retest the high without breaking the high. So price can come anywhere between here and here and then continue down. But if
Okay.
you,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Where you were showing the level, was it the 15-minute? I think it was the 15-minute.
15-minute.
Yeah, when you were showing which order block broke, like sponsored the break of structure.
Oh, I think I deleted.
Or was it on the, I don't know what, well, whichever time frame it was on. I think what I get confused with sometimes is which wick or which low to pick in order to consider.
So remember, you don't have a swing high if you don't have a break of structure.
Okay.
So for instance, this is one of the, this is on the daily. So if we're looking at the daily macros or daily majors, this is the high, this is the low. This became the high until this was broken, right? Until this is broken, this is not the swing high. Once this is broken, this becomes the swing high. So once price comes and breaks this high, then like right here, because technically we were looking for price to come back to this area here. Let me delete this. We were looking for price. Hold on a second. Okay, so because this broke structure, right? We are looking for price to come back. Let me delete all this stuff here. We were looking for price to come back to this order between here and where was the first break? So there's inefficiencies here. We have the order block, we have imbalance. We were looking for price to come anywhere in between here and here and sell down some more. But that's not what price did. Price came here, gave a bullish order block, right? So once you got this bullish order block, you have to watch, see what price is going to do. It gave the next day, it gave another bullish candle. So now, and then gave another bullish candle. So now you have a break of structure of this top side of this swing high. And now because it broke structure, it pulled back to that break of structure and started buying up some more. So now your next high is right here. So you're expecting price to buy, but remember, we marked up this area right here because that was the initial break of structure. So price is tapping into that zone, tapped in there, drop down. Price can either start selling back down or continue up to this high or even higher. Because price can it could go up to here because this is your trend line right here. This is your major trend line, the one that we marked up. Let me delete this one. So you either have to trade, and as I was going through before, the goal is to figure out where to get into the trade here, right? So if you go down to your lower time frames, your 4 hour, your 1 hour, your 30-minute, price is pulling back into, we have an expansion here. It violated this order block. It has now retested the break of this order block, this bearish order block, but it's still bearish. So price could come and tap into this order block, or price can keep going down. But when it's doing this, you want to continue marking up your swing highs, swing lows. So this is your current swing high. Okay. And currently this is I'll mark this as my low right here. Okay. So if price breaks this area right here, if price breaks here, and these are your minor swing highs and swing lows, by the way, because we're on a smaller time frame. So if price breaks this low here, right here, then we're going to take our swing high and we're going to move it down. So you don't get confused. So here's your high. If price breaks here, this is now your swing high. So then price may pull back. It might break. It might pull back. It might come. It might create double bottoms. It might break through. You just don't know what it's going to do. But in my head, in my mind, if I'm trading this, I'm looking for sales. For me, I would have looked for a sell here. I would have looked for a sell. Here's a violated order block here. This is where I would have looked for price to come back to. And I would have gotten in here. Or price can come back and fill this imbalance. One of the three. Again, once it breaks, price can come back to retest here, or price can come back and retest the high. And then keep selling. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that was.
Yes.
Okay, good. Good. Okay. Does everybody understand how to, once you go down to the lower time frames, just like I just said right here, how to then get in the trade?
When it pulls back, right? Then
Mm-hmm.
we get in for a sell down.
Mm-hmm. And see, I wouldn't trade, because this is like a bullish order block right here. This is on the 1 hour. Me personally, I'm not trading this up just because it's a bullish order block. Because in my mind, it's only going up here to then drop some more. Because I'm bearish right here.
Mhm.
Although I'm looking to buy up, although I'm looking to continue buying up, this really could keep selling down. It could break these lows right here.
Kim, would you say that's an M? Based on the 1 hour?
If it breaks this right here, it's definitely an M for me. For me, you see, this did not break. It wicked through, it grabbed liquidity, but it did not close above. So for me, price is gonna drop.
Mhm.
So as soon as this this low is broken for me, this low right here, which it broke, this is the imbalance is where I would put in for myself, because it did not break this high. Now, if it had broken this high close candle, then I would have been like, okay, it might be a little pullback, but I would be expecting it to keep buying up. But because it did not break my high, in my mind, I would have been looking for sales.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, thank you, Kim.
You're welcome. So now the goal is to just watch for AUD CAD, watch this zone right here to see if you start getting breakthrough structure in this area. If you start getting breaks of structure in this area, then 9 times out of 10, you can buy up. Because remember, this right here, this down move and this up move was the weekly. So you had there was a down move and then the up move, and that pullback that we were just talking about right here is the pullback maybe to buy up. Or it's going to be a sell down to break these lows. But once you start seeing lower time breaks of structure, matter of fact, and this was our high right here, right? If price breaks this high, you can start buying up. Even though this gave a big push right here, and it's probably and has tapped into that zone, I personally want to see the break of structure of this high, of this. There's a push down, a major push down, a pullback. That is my high that I want to see price break. Because price could pull in here. It could consolidate back and forth. Price can pull in here, take out these lows, and then start consolidating in between here, and then keep selling down because it is currently bearish. But once I see this break, it's on and popping.
So once it breaks the high, then you know it's gonna sell.
Once it breaks this high, it's probably going to tap into one of these areas of market structure, right? Or areas of price action, which is for me is violated lows, order blocks, order blocks, violated order blocks, or the breaks of structure. So this broke here, this broke, here's another order block right here. I didn't see the first time. Like I'm looking for these breaks of these violated order blocks. And what I mean by that is this was a bullish order block. This was a bullish order block. Price pushed up, pulled back, right? Looking like it's creating a higher low, then pushed up, and then came back and violated all these order blocks and this low. So now I need for price to technically, and let me rephrase that. Technically, this is my swing high. I think technically that's my swing high. I'm sorry. I'm waiting for price to pull back to one of these areas right here to continue selling down. Somewhere up in here. Sorry, I didn't mean to mislead you on that. This is my swing high. But price broke, so I'm expecting a pullback into one of these areas for a sell down to this order block. That was on the, I forgot what time frame that was on. I think it was the daily or the weekly one. Okay, did that make sense? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
thank you.
All right. I did want to say, because I know somebody said that they were struggling with identifying the breaks of structure. I know that you can, if you want, I like to use the wicks, but you can always just go to the line chart, and where you have like a major, look for the peak highs and the peak lows, like this I like to say a deep V, right? That's where I would mark up like my major highs and lows. Now we have a break of structure, a little, you see this little V right here, like this is a little break of structure. But this deep V right here was the break of structure. And so you got to pull back and then you can sell it back down. But if you got in here, if you got in somewhere up in here where there was a violated order block or something, then you would already be in profit by the time it got here. Because you're looking for, what are we looking for? Sales. Don't everybody jump in at one time. Say that, okay?
Sales.
Sales.
Oh,
Okay. So any questions? Any other questions? I gotta figure out how to get that. Okay, here we go. But now, because we had this break of structure, we're kind of looking for buys. So even if it breaks this low back here, right here, you're looking, once it pulls back, you're going to be, you can sell it down, but you don't know how far it's going to go, right? It can come back to this order block and buy back up. It can come and close this imbalance and buy back up. It can come back to the 78, 88 and buy back up. But just know you will now be looking for temporary buys until then.
And Kim, can I ask a quick question?
Yep.
So if we're looking for temporary buys to buy back up and overall trend is bearish, so then when it's bearish, we'll be looking for a BOS back down for the bearish.
Correct. Because like I said, price can come up to this high.
Yes.
And I really wanted to break this area right here. But like I said, it tapped into that area and rejected it.
Yes,
Not only did it reject it, it gave a daily bearish order block.
yes.
So it could, like we said, we are looking for, well, we're still in sales. We're still in the sales. I said we're bullish, but currently we're in sales
Mhm.
and hoping somewhere in this area, you'll start seeing bullish pressure to
Mhm.
start buying back up.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. And then once, like I said, once this pulls back, if it breaks this low, wherever that high is here, then you'll move your swing high. Just keep moving. Once you get that break of a low, just keep moving your swing high. So when price does break that area, you'll be closer to the entry of that area. You'll be able to get in at the beginning of that move, instead of trying to get into it like up here somewhere. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Okay, was that helpful? Market structure, was that market structure helpful? Did I explain it better this time?
Oh, yes, you did a great job, Kim.
Yes, Kim, great
Thank
job.
you.
Powerful, powerful, powerful. Yes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. All right, then, okay. So now that was AUD, right? So our other pair for this week was, I'm going to go to the monthly. And what's our overall market structure?
Bullish, bullish.
Right. So now our overall market structure is bullish, right? We got high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low. So we had a order block that got tapped in, price tapped into it, started moving and breaking structure to the top side. It's currently in an order block. So that's on the monthly. So now we go to the daily. So now that price broke structure, so we had this was that didn't break that. So I'm going to make this a high. This was our swing high. We had a minor level break of structure here. So it pulled back into the imbalance. You could have bought this up to this order block, which was about 1 trillion pips. And then once you start getting because I don't want you to get caught in the pullback. Like once you start getting your breaks of structure, your break, this is an order block here. You see it came up, it pulled back, but it didn't break this last low. So don't get confused with the bearish order block, because it could just be a pullback. So that's the difference between a pullback, and then trading. I just don't want you to get confused with this right here. Just because price pulled up, it's in the order block. It gave you a daily bearish order block. We are still bullish at this moment, right? It didn't break any of these lows. It didn't break this low. So it's a pullback. So you just have to keep an eye on it to see what happens. And then it gave you another bullish order block. once you violated this bearish order block, you got this buying pressure right here. Price came back, tapped into and retested that area, gave you another day of bullish. Like it was just bullish from here on out. So don't get confused with these minor levels versus the major and minor highs and lows. Now, if this had come back and gave a if this had come back and gave like a candle that came and came all the way down here, started breaking this level where you were expecting price to come back and retest and keep moving, but or even this low right here, this order block, then you can wait for the pullback to start selling it back down. Yes, it will confuse you. It will confuse you. But until price starts breaking lows, and you can just think of these wicks as the lows. And then you have an order block here, low. You'll expect a pullback and then to keep selling down. But because it did not break any of those lows, then like even that low right there, it gave an order block, then it gave a bullish order block, then it gave a bearish order block, but it wasn't breaking lows. So definitely stay on the lookout for that.
Can I ask a quick question? Does price always have to pull back?
Price is always going to pull back. Like price has, because it can't keep going in one direction, right?
Okay.
Price has to come back and reset itself. Just like when this drop happened, price has to come back and reset itself. And where did it reset itself to? To the break of structure right here. Came back and reset itself.
Okay.
And then started dropping, pulled back a little and started dropping some more.
Okay. And would the reset itself be considered the correction?
Correct.
Okay. That's what, okay. Gotcha.
Yep.
Perfect.
Because if it just went in one direction, we all be rich, right?
Yes.
We'd all be rich.
Yes.
Okay. So this is JER 30. So JER 30 tapped into this high. You see it broke structure. Now I do want to say this to you also. I do want y'all to. So price broke structure and then it pulled back, but it didn't meander back, as Ty would say. It didn't meander back. It gave a lot of buying pressure. And y'all know how I do. So once it breaks, right, what am I looking for? My violated order blocks. This is violated order block number 1. This is violated order block number 2. And then this is violated order block number 3.
Can you draw circles around the order blocks?
Uh-huh. Sure. Let me see. Okay, here we go. Here's one here. Here's one here. And then here's this one here. And then here's one here. So once I get a break of structure, I look for my order blocks. I look for my violated order blocks, and then I draw my zones. And this is where I'm looking for price to come back, show rejection, show some kind of something. And that's what happened. It tapped into this one, rejected, gave me an order block here, gave me a bearish order block here, but did not break any of these lows, and then gave me another bullish order block right here. So I think personally, I think this one is going to continue, is a continuation. It's going to be a continuation. If I go to my higher, yeah. So I think this is probably going to go. I don't know where this is going to go. Maybe fundamentals will dictate where it's going. Maybe it'll come up, pull back, and then keep buying up to these highs. Because I don't see anything in here. I don't see an imbalance here on the weekly. I don't see anything that would, unless it's, well, it could be somewhere in these wicks, somewhere on the lower time frame. Daily. And I'm just looking for inefficiencies. There's a little imbalance up in there. Yeah, maybe there is some. Once it breaks back up here, then this would just be the high I would target. Buy until you can't. So that's for your 30.
Okay, Kim, before you move on,
Mm-hmm.
can you go down to a lower time frame? Where would you expect it to pull back in order to enter?
I thought I just marked it up. So we got a violated order block here, which is in line with the imbalance of this candle here. This is on based off the daily. Okay, so down to the 4 hour. Because price is still buying. So price tapped into that one already. Because price is still buying, I'm looking for buys, right?
Mhm.
Until it breaks these lows and I get some selling pressure. And when I say selling pressure, I mean like a candle like this, 2 or 3 candles like this, or like this is selling pressure, right? This was selling pressure. So, and then it came back with buying pressure. So price broke these levels of, I don't know if that's a, yeah, I think so. A break of structure here. So price pull back into this area. So I'm expecting buys until I can't buy anymore, until I start seeing selling pressure. Then I'll wait for a pullback, and then I would at least sell it down to, what are we looking for? The initial move that sponsored the break of structure. So this was the high at one point because we had a break, went to low, and then this was the high because this broke this low, and then price pushed and broke both of these highs, pulled back into the order block, response to these breaks, meandered, and then we had another break here. So I would be expecting price to come back here. I just had this line right here, where I just moved this line from. You got a violated order block right here. You've got imbalance right here. You have imbalance right here as well, but you got to remember price may or may not come all the way down, but this was the move that sponsored these breaks over here. Okay. So if you want, you can set an alert. Once you get down here, go down to the whatever time frame you want to trade from, and if you start getting breaks of structure in this zone to the top side, then that's your zone and you'll start trading. Once you get a push, then you can set your limit based off of the order block that caused the push, and then trade it back up. And it's not order block, but this is the last down candle before this up move. Or it could be right here. So you just never know where price is going to go. I can't predict where price is going to go. I just identify the areas where I expect it to come and then look for breaks of structure to the top side.
Right. So right now, price is basically somewhere in the middle. You wouldn't do anything until it breaks that little consolidation, right?
Yeah, this right here is definitely meandering, right? I would not trade, and let me just show you, let me do it this way instead. This is the current high of this meander, which is a sell zone. And then you have that order block has been tapped into. I would just put it right here. And this is your buy zone. So if it breaks below here, then you can at least sell it to these levels. Here's a violated order block here where price hasn't come back to test. This is in line with this order block here. It may come down to here, who knows? May come close this imbalance, which is also this break of structure here. So if it breaks here, you can probably sell it down to here. If it breaks above here, then you can continue buying it up to at least this high right here.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know how many pips that is, but a lot. No, that was that only 153 pips? I don't know how to read pips.
Yeah, 150.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still 100. It's 100 pips. 150 pips.
Right. And down?
This is about 100, maybe here. It might even come, it can even come all the way down to here. Who knows?
Cool, thank you.
Okay, so that's your 30. Let's go to your CAD. What is our directional bias? It's
Bears.
right. Look, right. So with that being said, price was bearish, right? Came here. And this was a low. You had to break here, pull back here, 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 here. Price came and broke this high, right? Broke all these highs. Boop, 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 boop. And then tapped into this area here. This was the last down candle before the up move, right? So there was imbalance up in here. If I go to the daily, there is an order block. It's right here. There's the wicks of an order block right here. Okay. Price came and tapped into both of those and started breaking structure to the downside. I'm going to delete all this, y'all, because I can't. Started breaking structure. This was an order block here. And then broke through. Tap back in, and then started dropping some more. So based on the 4 hour, it broke structure, pulled back in, gave you a bearish order block, broke some more structure. So you're expecting price to either to just tap back into here. I'm sure if we go down to the 1 hour, you probably find some more price action of some sort. Once it broke, it came and closed this imbalance. And then started selling back down. It's currently within this order block. So you definitely want to wait for price to either break here or come and break up here. Okay. So if it breaks here, you're gonna look for your, this is an order block right here. So you look for price to come back and continue selling down. At least to here, here. And when I go down to my 4 hour, you'll see why I marked that up. You have this wick created the high. You have you have imbalance in here. As you can see, for those who like to use the 50% of that of the imbalance, that's it right there. But yeah, this is, you're selling this back down for now.
Kim, can you go back to where you were and you marked up that last breaker structure?
This
I
one
think
or this one?
It was on a lower time. Yeah, that one. It was on a lower time frame though. On the 1 hour maybe?
Oh, 1 hour.
I'm trying to see. It
No,
was where you marked up the bottom of the candle.
Oh, that was
Probably
on a daily.
That was on a daily. Okay. So your breaker structure was what? Was it were you marking up the candle right before? Because
This order block right here.
okay, what's that line over to the left? It's got to be on a lower time frame. That line look like it's making an F or an E all the way to the right, closest to price.
You said an F. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So that's when I went down to the lower time frame. That was my swing high, and this was my swing low right here.
And then the line in the middle.
And the line in the middle, I think, was on the 15.
That's it. So that's where you have a breaking structure right there.
So when it broke this right here, when it broke this level, you're expecting a pullback, and it filled in this imbalance. That's what that was. Price came back, filled in this imbalance, and then started selling back down. Because you had this break. So you're expecting a pullback, and the pullback came to fill the imbalance. Price could have filled this imbalance. Price could have come back to.
Okay, so that's what I was thinking.
This was already tapped into. So right when this broke,
that right,
it came back and tapped into this already.
You're right. Okay.
So the next area of inefficiency was the imbalance.
The imbalance. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're right. Thank you.
Any other questions? Y'all want to go over the GBP pairs?
Sure.
Yes.
Please.
I know Todd had us look at those this week as well. So if we're looking at the overall structure, price was first bearish, and now it didn't break this low, right? It came and tapped. This was the last swing high because it broke structure. This was the last swing high. Price broke through it and came back and retested that area. Started buying up. Okay. And then price came back to let me see if it came back to here. Close this imbalance. Yeah. I think there is an order block right here. There was some liquidity right here. So price did tap into that. This is an order block right here. So price tapped into that as well. So now we have this was our last swing high that price broke through, right? Pulled back into, I'm going to just say this is an order block because this is not a green candle or a red candle. It's an indecision candle. So we're going to use it as an order block. But even if that's not, whether that's green or red, the order block that was violated, you see that order block that was violated, price came back and tapped into that. Or price might decide it want to keep coming back and tap into this violated order block and into this order block and fill this imbalance. Price gonna do whatever it's gonna do, right? But it broke this swing high, pulled back into one of the last violated order blocks, except for this one. And now we're gonna go down to the daily. Currently at the daily, there's a bearish order block. So before this before we had a bullish order block, which was a pullback because price was bearish right here, broke structure right here, pullback, and then gave us another we had a bullish order block and then gave us a bearish order block. Okay, so once that broke, now we have this violated order block. I'm good with putting my, let me go down to the 4-hour. I'm good with putting my entry. Here's another violated order block right here, either here or here. And I know it tapped into it. I'm just not sure. Let me, for the sell. So it tapped in, sold down, tapped into this order block. So now I would definitely be waiting for price to either break or either come up here and sell or break this high and buy up. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you say yes, ma'am?
Yes.
So that's GA. So we're expecting it to either pull back here and keep selling or break this high and buy up, at least till this order block here, which is about 347.50 pips. Okay. GCAD weekly. Okay. Price is bearish. We had here, pull back, and then drop some more, taking out these lows. But now it's pulling back. If we're basing this off of market structure, we have a violated order block here. We have a violated order block here. Or no, that's not a violated order block. We have an order block here. And then we have imbalance up in here, right? So it can pull back anywhere. I'm going to mark this one up because it's a low, but so price tapped into, filled in this imbalance that was right here. And then started pulling back. Even with this pullback, currently we are still, what do y'all think we still are?
Bullish.
Mm-hmm. We're still bullish. So
question, I'm surprised you didn't, excuse me, squeeze it in. Like why, what made you,
instead of right here?
no, not that, like,
Oh,
yeah.
right here?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I did that already.
Right, so you were saying that this was
Bearish.
bearish overall, and then
Overall bearish.
right? And then, so since you're saying it's overall bearish, but then we looked at, a fewer candles and said, okay, it's bullish. So you're saying it's bullish now until it gets to the trend line.
So because it came and it pretty much grabbed all this liquidity, all this trend line liquidity that was going up at some point. It came and grabbed all of it. Right? And then it started breaking swing highs, which this was the first, was a swing high on this higher time frame, right? It broke the swing high. So now we are expecting price to come back. Now that it's pulling back, because it tapped into the imbalance and starting to pull back, right? But it's still bullish unless it breaks these lows. So I'm looking for price to come back here, come back and close this imbalance. This was the move that where the breaker structure occurred. Let me go to the daily. So you have a violated order block here, price tap back in. You have a violated order block here, this little tiny order block that price has not come back to yet. You see there's a little imbalance in there. So I'm gonna mark that up. There's imbalance here, but for right now, I would, because although it's pulling back right now, it's still bullish. So I'm expecting price to come back in this area somewhere where I just put these two lines, bounce off this trend line somewhere. I mean, this trend line is not a real trend line, it's a fake trend line. And I say that because I'm not, that's the real trend line right there, because it bounced and then here. So your trend line has to align with your swing lows. So now that it's pulling back, I'm kind of expecting price to at least come back here and then start and continue buying up. It's not, if it breaks this low here, then we'll be back into sales again. But until then, you can possibly sell this down at least to, that's why you have to know where you are on the chart. You can sell this back down to this area and then start buying back up.
Gotcha.
As long as it don't break this low, it can come anywhere between here and here and turn around. But I'm expecting it to turn around at these areas that I've marked up. Did that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. Any other, oh, let me see. So that was GC. So right now it's a pullback. You can expect price to come back up in here somewhere to buy back up. GF. Let me go to the weekly. Overall trend.
Bearish.
Is bearish. So this was our swing high, current swing high. So price look like it's consolidating a little bit. So if I go down to the daily, price went up, broke this low right here, tapped into this imbalance and then pushed back up, and now tapped into this order block and is meandering. So based off of this down move here, this is our current high. So if price breaks here, you can at least buy it up to maybe here. That's 186 pips. but not until it breaks the high here. If it breaks that high, then you can just buy it up to this. There's an order block here that's 289 pips. And then there's an order block right here. That's 613 pips. Oh, shoot, y'all. I forgot. Okay. That was my doorbell. Any questions?
No,
Thank
thank you,
you.
Kim.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Is Todd on here?
No
Mhm.
questions. Thank you.
T-Dog. T-O-double-D.
Thank you, Cam.
I can't stay in time.
What's up, Cam?
It's
What's
powerful.
up, Todd? Todd, I'm gonna send this link to you.
Yeah,
So
thank you. That'd be awesome.
So that's all I got for now. I forgot I had a client at 7 o'clock. She outside ringing the doorbell.
Calls Kim and Kim.
Many blessings to you. Thank you.
All right, y'all.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kim.
Thank you,
Bye.
Kim. Bye.
Bye.